Hi everyone and welcome to another video. My name is Olivia and I make content about my writing as a freelance screenwriter and an aspiring novelist and about all the books that I love. Today we're going to be talking about NaNoWriMo, about the controversies going on with it, whether or not I'm going to do it again because of that, what I learned about doing it myself last year, and just generally my thoughts on doing writing challenges like that for yourself and what my plan is for November, which is National Novel Writing Month. So let's begin. First, let's address the elephant in the room if you're familiar with NaNoWriMo and what is going on. So NaNoWriMo is an online website called National Novel Writing Month, and it started many years ago, a couple decades ago, I believe. The whole point is it's this online community that comes together a couple times a year, the big one being November, where you set a challenge to write 50,000 words in 1 month to start writing your novel. There's lots of community engagement that goes along with this. You can log your work for everyone to see and encourage one another. And then there are also certain writing programs. And this is where the controversy kind of began, because one of the writing programs that they would have is a youth writing program. You can probably unfortunately see where this is going. I will use the term allegedly just for my own safety, but NaNoWriMo has spoken up about it recently. But anyway, so what allegedly happened was within these youth programs, NaNoWriMo is all volunteer based if I'm not mistaken, and what happened was that certain moderators or people who would come in to teach, I guess, on the youth forums, there was an instance when a moderator would speak to one of the participants of the workshop who was a minor outside of the program and essentially would bring them on to websites specifically meant for not minors. So that was a big thing that was happening, and there were a lot of allegations going around on Reddit. It became this whole big thing. NaNoWriMo said recently and come out and acknowledge that they're going to start doing background checks on everyone, the website I believe, but that was a big flag for me personally, and one of the most important things that all this controversy is going on, that is like the most important thing to focus on, because that's very serious and harmful. So that's the big thing that's going on with them. The other thing is one of the sponsors, I guess, for their website, who has recently come on, is like an AI site or a big supporter of AI. It's something with AI. This video isn't specifically talking about the controversy, it's just like one of the sections. There are so many creators who have made deep dives and really good, like, fact-checked dives into it. So if you're looking specifically for like the controversy, there are a lot of people who are far more equipped to talk about this than me, and there's so many of those videos going on right now, so please feel free if you want to know more specifically to go to them. But what I also know is that there's a lot of AI criticism, which I am also kind of annoyed by it, by what they said. So essentially they were really endorsing this AI sponsor or something, and they were receiving a lot of backlash and criticism because they're a website and a forum that really puts writers first, and the whole point is to encourage people to create their own work. Meanwhile, they started endorsing this AI thing, so a lot of people were kind of raising their eyebrows and criticizing that, and NaNoWriMo came back with, well, essentially and again, this is me doing a little Cole's notes, but they broke down how to not be supportive of AI is racist, is classist, and ableist. That didn't really help them out a lot, okay? There was one creator who did a really good deep dive on it, and he is someone who has an invisible disability, a learning disability, and he talked about how AI isn't a bad thing and it does help, and the conversation isn't about like excluding AI entirely. It's about AI assisting people, especially people who have like physical disabilities, to actually type out their stories. Like, there's so many ways that AI is actually a really good thing, and a lot of these creators who have made videos criticizing NaNoWriMo's take on AI have fully acknowledged that and are fully for AI assisting people and helping people. But what the thing is that the way NaNoWriMo kind of came across was just AI in general, and it taking it a bit too far, and no writer wants AI to write their story. You know, even this creator who has a disability, he's like, I don't want AI to write my story. It can assist me to make it easier for me because I have certain walls and things I have to face that neurotypical people don't. So it's great to help me with that, but like to have it, I don't know, just the way NaNoWriMo was saying it was just really far-fetched and endorsing AI to kind of help you write your story in terms of like the creativity side of it, not the actual practicality sides that can really help people. So it received a lot of backlash from that, which I'm doing a horrible job at explaining. But again, this isn't meant to be an explanation video. I'll actually link down the video below for the creator that I'm talking about. He did a really amazing job at really breaking everything down, so definitely check his video out. But anyway, that's what's going on with NaNoWriMo. So next question to address, am I going to do NaNoWriMo this year? And the answer is no. NaNoWriMo has actually, to their credit, they've pretty much responded to everything. The AI backlash they had, the allegations about mistreatment of minors, all that kind of stuff, and they have said that they're going to change things. But I don't feel comfortable being part of that online world, specifically that website, knowing that that's what's going on and they're working through those changes. Having said that though, even when I did NaNoWriMo last year, I barely used the website. I kind of used it to log everything. I intended to use it more. I did a whole video breaking down how to use it and everything like that, but I just never did because I don't know, it just never crossed my mind, or I got busy with other things. So to me, it's not really changing much, but for some people, they're kind of saddened by it because they really enjoyed that community. But if you do your research, there's actually so many other formats like that coming up for people who are leaving NaNoWriMo looking for a safer platform to be on and have the same communal experiences. So definitely put your research in there, but I mean good research, okay? Especially if there's youth programs, make sure it's a safe platform is all I'm gonna say. So don't be hard-pressed if you're thinking, I won't have this online community. You will. You genuinely will. There's so many other forums that do it. And NaNoWriMo, maybe it's just gonna take a different name. I've already seen so many other YouTubers coming up with their own communities and online platforms. Don't worry, you can still have that community. Just maybe not through NaNoWriMo right now while they're working out all their kinks. But again, you do you. That's just my take. I'm not gonna do it while they work on all that. But now that we've talked about all the controversy, I do want to talk about doing a writing challenge like that. Because again, just because NaNoWriMo might be canceled or gone doesn't mean that these writing challenges are done. You can still do that. So we're gonna talk about the 50,000 1-month writing challenge and what I learned from doing that. So here is everything I learned about doing a 50,000 word challenge for 1 month. First off, I learned that it is very challenging, especially when you have a full-time job. I have a full-time job, I'm also a freelancer, and when I'm freelancing, even if I don't have a contract, which is most of the time, I'm networking, I'm emailing people, I'm trying to meet new people. It's a whole other part-time job in and of itself, even if you're not working on a contract. So it was pretty unachievable for me to do 50,000 words, and I had started off the month actually with the mindset of I'm not gonna hang out with my friends as much, I'm gonna sacrifice my social life a little bit so I can focus on this. And November is also my worst mental health month, to be completely honest, just because that's when it starts getting darker way sooner. It's really common, we all know that, and I realized halfway through the month, no, I really can't make that sacrifice for my own sanity. So it actually never took a priority over my daily life things. It was trying to fit it in. Some people really like to take the month of November to really just put your writing as top tier priority, and I would love to do that if I wasn't working a job to pay my bills or having to freelance my stuff all the time, even though that stuff I equally love to writing books. So however, I would say that it was really fun. I really enjoyed trying to make an active effort, and honestly, I'm a competitive person, so having this challenge, for me, that actually really works for motivation because I am naturally very competitive. That does not work for everyone, so that's cool if that doesn't work for you, but for me, having a challenge actually kind of helped me take more accountability with my time in writing and procrastinate less and really make sure that my focuses were specific on what I was doing, whether I was writing or whether I was going to work or actively taking time just to read and rest my brain or see friends to fill up my social battery and take care of my mental health. It made my time very specific, which I loved. So that was a bonus about doing a challenge like that for myself anyway. I also learned it was a great time to figure out what your writing routine is. My writing routine and the best time of day for me to write has fluctuated a lot. It usually depends on what job I'm working. Like when I was doing NaNoWriMo last year, I was working at a performance venue serving, so I was doing late nights, so I was a really big morning writer then. So whereas now my schedule is very opposite, so it really depends, but it's a wonderful way to try out new routines, and I just think that's a really good time to push yourself and see what else you're able to do and different ways you can write, whether you just want to be like a pantser or a full plotter. It's just really fun and an interesting way to discover how you write if you don't necessarily know. And I think how we write sometimes for some people it changes a lot. For me it changes a lot, so it's nice to kind of check in with yourself and try new things to see what works and what doesn't. And I found having that month, I had to, in order to write, I just had to put time in a random day that I knew I had a couple hours and go from there. And sometimes it worked out really well because it was the time of day that I was really productive, and other times it didn't work out because I realized that time of day I was not productive. So it was a really good time to figure out what worked for me and what didn't. Another thing I learned, having a challenge like that really forced me to put my head down and work. That sounds so Kim K and I hate that. I don't mean it that way at all. It did, like I mentioned before, it really helped with procrastination. Again, because I'm a super competitive person and I wanted to meet that challenge and that goal. Ultimately I didn't, which we'll get to, but it really helped me narrow in and focus, and I loved that. I made so much time to go to the library and just write, and I figured out ways through that to deal with distraction. I had never gone to the library just to do writing beforehand, but I actually started doing it during that month, and after the big writing month I kept doing it, even if it wasn't for my novel but for my screenwriting or my freelance stuff, because it was such a wonderful place for me not to get distracted. Because I mean, I love working and writing in like a cafe, but sometimes the music is really distracting depending on how I'm doing that day. I think sometimes your headspace really affects your level of distraction, at least for me specifically. So some days I just needed to put myself in a silent space and it really worked, whereas some days maybe that would make me go insane. That was really good to figure out what are the best ways for me to sit down and work and not be distracted. Another great thing about having a writing challenge like that is that there's a community behind you. Every November, go on YouTube. So many people will be doing writing challenges. Again, in the past, you would just type in NaNoWriMo and a bunch would come up. Probably not going to be NaNoWriMo anymore, but November writing challenges are still going to be a thing, because despite all the controversy with that one online forum, we're still all writers. We still all just want to write. Clearly, the NaNoWriMo concept has been going on for a very long time because everyone loves to sit down what is arguably the worst month of the year and focus and write. So that won't stop. So you're still gonna be able to find your online community. Be careful, but that is an amazing thing that comes along with doing a writing challenge like this. Again, I didn't really outwardly participate in other communities just because there was so much going on and I got sick and whatever, but I've vlogged majority of my experience doing it and interacting with people who watched my videos, who were commenting on it, telling me about how they were doing. Like, I loved when people would comment on those videos and tell me where they were at. Those were my favorite comments to respond to and read. That's where I kind of got the community from it, and I was so lucky that people actually clicked on my videos and were willing to share with me how they were doing, and that was one of the biggest highlights, and I still really look forward to that. Having said that, let me know what you're doing this November. At the end of the day, we all just want to write, so let's just write. And what I'd say the most important thing I realized about doing a writing challenge last year, the goal was 50,000 words. I wrote 30,000 words, and I realized after that I really loved writing my story, but I was nowhere near ready to actually go to draft. I am a plotter, and I did plot a fair amount before going into it, but nearly not enough. When I do my screenwriting, I do a beat sheet, I do an outline, I do a first draft, second draft, third draft, and for me, when I approached my novel last year, I would have loved to do all the outlines that I typically do because I am a planner through and through. That's just who I am. Then November came around and it was like National Novel Writing Month, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna write and we'll see what happens. And I learned that that doesn't really work for me. I do love discovery writing to find things as like exercises and practices, but before I dive into a large draft, I want to know every beat of the plot. I want to know, if it's not every scene, that's okay, but I want to know what needs to happen in every act, what each plot point is. And through writing that book, or starting to, I learned that I actually needed to shelf it, and I haven't touched it since, and I definitely do want to, but I also realized writing it it wasn't what I needed to be writing at that time because I had no personal connection to it. And everyone says write what you know for a reason, and I was writing a fantasy book I would love to read. I will keep the world building that I did. I will keep the magical system. You know, I'll keep that kind of adventure that's going on, but I felt no personal connections to the characters I was writing because I didn't put in enough work to find ways of finding myself or my own world or experiences in them. Through that, I learned that I need to actually put that aside because I was trying to fit in some emotional plot points that just would not relate to the story. So looking at what I wanted to write, I was like, oh, this is actually the story that I want to write at this point in time, which is the story I'm going to be moving forward with, which, as I've talked about before, I'm going to be writing a sapphic romance novel based in like the Jane Austen era for many personal reasons that I just love, and I'm just so excited and thrilled to get started on it, but it's something that I need to write right now. So with that, will I be participating in NaNoWriMo? As we said before, no. But will I start writing my novel in November? Yes. I'm not gonna do a 50,000 word challenge. Again, I've left it. I had so much fun doing the challenge, but I just know what's going on in my life right now and know that I can't dedicate that time. But that doesn't mean that there are no novel writing vlogs coming, because I'm still going to be inspired by the fact that it's November. I will be beginning to plot my novel and really work on the outline and all those kind of research things. I'm reading a book right now for research, which I'll share when I release my first novel writing vlog, but I'm about to make a whole new playlist on my channel for this specific novel and have writing vlogs around it. So just because I'm not doing the 50,000 word NaNoWriMo challenge does not mean I'm not gonna release novel writing vlogs. It's just gonna be chill, cozy vibes as per usual. Yeah, I'm just gonna write because at the end of the day, whether you're doing a writing challenge or not, that's what we want to do. So I will see you in November writing a novel in the pace that I need to take it at because I cannot do a 50,000 word challenge. That is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please go forward with whatever you want to do for this novel writing month. Just proceed with caution. If you're going to enter into any online forum, whether that be NaNoWriMo or another one, just be careful and let's just write. I will see you in November where I will be writing, and I hope you will be writing, and you can comment on my videos and tell me what you're writing, tell me what you're working on. I want to hear it all. Let's talk about it, and I hope you enjoy your novel writing month in whatever way that looks like for you. So take care, and I'll see you